Google Cloud generated a profit of $191 million in the first quarter of this year. This marks the first ever profitable quarter since the birth of Google Cloud. While this was a great achievement, they followed this up in Q2 by more than doubling the Q1 profits by $395 million. At first glance, these numbers might look modest for a big tech giant like Google. But then to put this in perspective, in Q2 of 2022, Google Cloud made a loss of $595 million. So, the results of Q2 this year show that their margins have improved by almost $1 billion year over year. Having not only 2 quarters of profitability, but also more than a 100% increase in profit over 2 quarters is astronomical. It is safe to say Google's cloud business is finally in the era of profitability. This comes just 3 years after hiring Thomas Kurian to lead the cloud division. To put this in perspective, Google launched their cloud business in 2008, which means they had been operating on a loss for more than 15 years. In this video, we will look at how Thomas Kurian was able to save Google Cloud from being a money-bleeding pit to finally being a profitable business. To understand how Thomas was able to turn Google Cloud around, let's go back to April 7th, 2008, when Google launched App Engine, their first ever cloud offering. App Engine was a platform which aimed at simplifying the deployment of applications to the cloud. In reality, this was just a response to Amazon's AWS. Seeing the tremendous success of AWS just 2 years after its launch, Google thought they could make a better alternative. Thus, the launch of App Engine. App Engine basically encapsulated the process of deployment, routing, and scaling, such that developers just needed to worry only about the product itself. But then this came with lots of issues. First of all, the ease of use meant customizability was limited. Also, App Engine had a lot of scaling issues and slow response time, that even though it initially attracted a lot of developers, they quickly ditched it to go back to AWS. In the next 5 years that followed, Google will double down year after year, introducing new products like cloud storage, BigQuery, Cloud SQL, Compute Engine, and so on. But regardless of all these, companies were still not adopting Google Cloud. In fact, everyone viewed it as a watered-down version of AWS. Google then tried reducing the cost of all their cloud products to try attracting more users. But then this still did not help, which brought in a lot of frustration in Google. What made it even worse was the surprising success of Microsoft Azure, which used this same business model of low price and was launched 2 years after App Engine. The industry considered AWS as the gold standard, and Microsoft Azure as a cheaper but a little less sophisticated version of AWS. No one really considered Google Cloud as a viable cloud solution. In 2015, Diane Greene was announced as the CEO of Google Cloud just 3 years after she joined Google as one of its board of directors. Diane had quite an impressive resume, as she was founder and CEO of VMware before joining Google. Hello guys, a quick pause here. If you are finding this story interesting, please do us a favor and take a moment to smash the like and subscribe button to help grow our community. Thank you. Okay, so back to the story. In retrospect, Diane's reign was quite good, as she set the foundations needed by Thomas to turn things around. Though she was able to create new services like IoT Core and Kubernetes Engine, her reign was mainly marked by various acquisitions in an attempt to change the perception of Google Cloud in the market. Some notable acquisitions which were made were the purchase of Apigee, Quickie Labs, Stackdriver, and Kaggle. Notable milestones she achieved were landing big clients like Twitter, Target, and HSBC. Under her reign, Google was also named by Gartner in 2018 as a leader in infrastructure as a service provider. Shortly after receiving this award, Diane stepped down as CEO of Google Cloud in November of 2018. It seems the reason she left was due to disagreements with board members on the strategy of Google Cloud. You see, though she had garnered some wins, Google Cloud was still burning money, so normally doubts started to kick in on her strategy. In any other time, Diane's exit would have been a devastating blow to Google's cloud business, as there are not many people in the world who are qualified for that role, and most of them will probably be working in other companies already. But luckily for Google, Thomas Kurian just so happened to be out looking for a job around the same period. You see, Thomas used to be president of Oracle, reporting directly to Larry Ellison. He joined Oracle in 1996 and worked his way up the company. He was basically the de facto CEO of Oracle Cloud. He is the man responsible for building the biggest enterprise solutions company in the world. It will not be an exaggeration to say he was the most qualified person in the world that could be the CEO of Google Cloud. He had experience overseeing tens of thousands of developers and handling billions of dollars in budgets. Everything being equal, Google would have never been able to poach Thomas from Oracle because there were really no incentives for him to switch. He was already making millions of dollars, had a top position, was next in line to be CEO, and just had to work for another 10 or so years to become an Oracle legend. But then, around the same time that Diane was having her issues with Google's board members, Thomas was also in disagreement with Larry Ellison on strategy. Thomas wanted Oracle to run more of their software on AWS and Azure to reach as many users as possible. But Larry's vision was to run their software purely on their own cloud to help boost the usage of Oracle Cloud. This disagreement led to a massive argument which would blow out of proportion. And in September of 2018, Thomas would announce he is leaving Oracle after more than 20 years of working with the company, and he is actively looking for new opportunities. This meant that when Diane gave her resignation, the ideal person to take over her role was also looking for a new job. So as expected, Thomas Kurian was hired as CEO of Google Cloud. Thomas said the main issue with Google Cloud was not that difficult to spot the moment he joined. The problem was that Google was focused on creating sophisticated technologies when the key was to build straightforward, reliable solutions. Google had to shift the mindset for Google Cloud from being a tech company to being a solutions company. Instead of hiring developers, Thomas will hire a bunch of sales engineers and solutions architects. They will engage with current and potential customers to inquire about their issues and needs, so as to produce solutions to address them. To double down on this approach, he will acquire a bunch of up-and-coming cloud solutions companies like Looker for $2.6 billion and Mandiant for $5.4 billion. All these helped tremendously in boosting sales and improving the perception of Google Cloud. While all these positive changes were occurring, there was still one issue. Google did not have a distinguishing factor. While AWS was known for its customizability and performance, Azure was known for its low price. Google also needed a distinguishing factor to really cement itself. This is when Thomas noticed the trend in the open source cloud market. Open source platforms like Elasticsearch and MongoDB were actively being attacked by the likes of AWS. Seeing this, Thomas knew exactly what their distinguishing factor would be. They would be the champions of open source cloud solutions. He will form a partnership with 7 of the most popular open source solutions. This gave developers the tremendous power of the Google infrastructure as well as the customizability of the open source platforms. And this was the major turning point for Google Cloud, which started attracting a lot of large customers like PayPal, Deutsche Bank, Bloomberg, 20th Century Fox, and so on. Today, Google Cloud has now grown bigger than their ad business, and they have the potential to grow even more, as they still just have 10% of the market share. Google's struggle to break into the enterprise market is a testament of perseverance and some luck. Right now, Google is facing an even bigger challenge, as they are getting sued by the DOJ. You can learn more about this lawsuit and how Google can use it to their advantage in the video to the left. Until next time.